Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Well, we're a few days shy of Valentine's Day 2022, and so I'm gonna have I'm sharing a fun fold with you with a Valentine's theme. And you can see when you come to open it up like this, the front piece sort of falls away from the main part of the card, and you've got this little pop out feature here. So let's get some supplies and see about making this card for you. My base is Highland Heather 8.5 by 5.5, and I've just scored it in the middle at 4.25. And then we've got some of the So Sweet Designer Series paper, which is in the Spring 2022 mini catalogue. And we're going to attach that to the front. And those who follow me know that I like to use liquid adhesive, but you can go ahead and use whatever works for you. I'm just going to pop it in on the center of this card base. And this is the reason why I like using this adhesive is that it gives me a little bit of working time, because you can still smoosh the glue around underneath. Now we're going to cut a hole in the middle of this, and to do that I am using my Stitch So Sweetly dies. I just love these scallop rectangles, and then we've got some other dies. I've got them out somewhere for another video at the top here. And I'm going to use the largest of those dies, and it's this one here. And we're going to get out the cut and emboss machine. Here we go. And to set this up, I'm using the large base, which is the number 1. The die adapter, which is number 2, and then 2 clear plates, which are marked number 3. And you can see, well used, well loved, but they're still nice and flat and they work really well. And we're going to carry on using them until I can't use them anymore. So we're going to lay our card base down, and I'm going to have it flat like that, and then place my die on there as close as I can to the middle. And I'm going to use a little washi tape to just hold it in place while I push it through. And to help me with that, I am just going to put a little fold over there. That gives me something to grab hold of when it comes out the other side. And so we just go ahead and line it up as best we can. This paper is quite helpful because it does have some rows on it, which is nice. All right, so that's one piece, and I'm going to just do a little lip on that one as well and pop that the other side. Okay, pop that down, you've got to stay, and then my other plate on top. And then we're going to crank it through. And we're going to crank it through nice and slowly. I'm going to have to stand up, help me with this. Now, we've got cardstock and we've got paper stuck together for this die to deal with. And so in order to make sure that we keep enough pressure for the rollers to cut through the card and the paper, we crank it through slowly. And then, there we go. Hopefully that will give us a good cut. Before I take anything off, I'm going to check to make sure I have got a good cut. You can see all the way round is perfect. So I'm done with my slip the tongue, my cut and emboss machine. And so now we can gently push out that piece. I'm going to set that aside for another little project at the end of the video. And There we have it. So there's the front of our card, and now we're going to bring in another piece of basic white cardstock. Now this is 8 by 5, and it's been scored at 2.5, 4.5, and 6 inches. And this piece is what makes this sort of folding mechanism here. So we need to make sure that we get it the right way round. And so if you see this piece here, which is the 2.5 inch score line, we're going to keep that piece at the top here. And we're then going to fold that into a little valley fold, mountain fold, my mistake. And then I am going to fold this piece into the mountain fold, and then this piece as well is into the mountain fold. So you're ending up with a piece like this, and that is actually going to go into the card like that. Now I want to just do a tiny little bit of decorating before I stick that in, just so as I don't get ink on something I don't want to get ink on. And I'm just got some tiny heart, a little tiny heart here, like that. And that's it for that part of my decoration. And I'm going to attach it to this part, but I'm only going to put adhesive on this. And part of the reason that I stamped it when I did is that this reminds me exactly where on the card I need it to go, and I'm not going to go ahead and stick it on the wrong part. So a bit more liquid adhesive, and we're going to place this on the inside of the back of the card, and we're going to position it so that we get an even border on this side and this side. Now the fold is not going to line up. That's exactly as where we want it to be. It's not going to line up, and it's not supposed to line up, because this piece is now going to come in like that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little pen, and I'm going to line this cut edge up here with my fold, and I'm going to lay it down flat. And I just want to see where this fold comes on this part of my card, and I'm just going to make a little mark like that on both sides, just so I can see. So this is because I want to make sure that I don't put adhesive any further up than here and here, and I certainly don't want to get any adhesive here. Otherwise, my little mechanism is not going to work. So we're going to put some adhesive down, and I'm going to put it along the bottom here, and then I'm going to put some adhesive up as far as my mark, but close to that scalloped cut edge as I possibly can. So then I know it's not going to squeeze out onto the side. And then I'm going to position this so that my cut edge is next to my fold. Like that. And then I'm just going to gently press it down together. And we're going to give that adhesive a moment or two to stick. But you can see that I've got my borders here and here, and I don't have any adhesive sticking to any part that I don't want it to be. Right. So we leave that to set for a few moments. Now I also cut a piece of basic white using the same die as I did before, And we're going to use that for the sort of pop out side of the card. So I'm going to lay this down gently, and I'm going to make sure it flattens. And I've got a little bit of a bulge just there, but by pushing this out like that, I can push my card and put my fold in here, so that it will sit flat like this. Next step is we're going to attach this piece into the hole, and we're going to put our adhesive to the right of this score line. So it's going to go on this panel, and we're going to have to make sure that we don't put any adhesive at the very top or very bottom, otherwise it will not open. And to make sure I don't get too carried away with my adhesive, I'm going to actually put the adhesive on while the card is closed. There we go. And then I'm going to line up my scallops on this piece with the scallops on that I've cut out of the out of the card base. And because it's the same die, it's going to fit in perfectly. I press firmly, and then I'm going to set that aside for a few moments to dry while I do some of my decorative pieces. Now I'm using my stamp set, A Wish for Everything. If you don't have this in your stash, you really need to think seriously about getting it, because we have things like Valentine's, Halloween's, birthday, Thanksgiving, New Year, Hanukkah, Easter, you name it, it's in here. And then we've got some nice wishes, sort of inside wishes, that will also work. And then we've got a couple of really pretty sort of wishes and happy in sort of a script. So those are the ones I decided to use. And I'm going to get a piece of basic white cardstock. And then this is the heart duo punches. So you get one that is plain and the other which is scalloped, and they layer on one another perfectly. Now, normally I would stamp and then I would punch, but this one I'm going to punch first with the plain heart, and then I'm going to get some Blushing Bride and cut the scalloped heart. And the reason I'm using Blushing Bride is that it's the Highland Heather and the Blushing Bride, along with Real Red, that's in this piece of decorative paper. So I've just pulled out the colours. I've let the paper do the hard work. So I've got my Valentine here. And I'm going to start by stamping the happy. And I'm going to do it at an angle. And then underneath, I'm going to stamp the Valentine. Excuse my head if it comes into view. There we are. And then I'm just going to put the little heart in there as well, just to fill up the space. And then just attach my two hearts together. And then I was looking for some other hearts to use on my card, and I came across my Give It a Whirl dies. Now this is the set of dies that allows you to make a whirly card with like a little turny thing in. And I have done a video on that. And if you look below this video, you'll see a link to my blog, and that will take you to information about the card I'm showing you today. But I'll also put a link to how to use this to make the card with the little whirly thing in. But what I'm trying to say is that this particular set of dies has 4 hearts in it. 4 beautiful hearts of different sizes. Here they go. So I've cut one out of the largest one out of the Highland Heather, and then the next one out of the rose gold metallic paper. If you don't have this one, you need to get this. You get 4 sheets of the rose gold, 4 sheets of the regular gold 6x6, and that is just to die for. And so we've used in the rose gold, and then just a tiny little piece of the real red in the last heart. So I pop those all away so I don't lose them. I'll stick them over there, and then we can build up the front of the card. Now I think that this has dried quite nicely now. I'm just going to gently ease that through, and so we've got our card like that. So we're just going to finish off now. I'm going to have that in front of me so I can remember how I did this. We're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals as much as possible to stick these in, and I'm going to use the minis, and I'm going to start by popping some of the minis. I think I'll just put one in the middle. Like that, and just gonna put it at a little slight angle. And then I used some of the elegant trim. Now the elegant trim comes in gold and silver, and I am using the gold one, and I just cut a little length. I think it's probably about 7 inches, and I'm just gonna loop it twice round. I just want to make sure one loop is slightly bigger than the other, and then I've got my cut ends there, and I'm going to take a tiny piece of sticky tape and just hold those in place so that it doesn't spring out like that. There, so it's just, as I say, just a little bit of tape. It's not going to show. And then with a glue dot, just pop a glue dot on, and then I'm going to wiggle that behind my heart, and it should go in, and just give it a little press, and there we've just got that sticking there. And now I'm just going to go with my other hearts. So I'm going to pop this one here. I'm going to put a glue dot on this part of it, because I want that to be flat against the heart that I've already put down. And I'm going to put a dimensional under the other side. Ooh, I've got 2 on my fingers. That threw me. All right. I'm just going to lay that down like that. So it's popped up on one side, but flat to the other piece there. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one. And I'm not going to put a glue dot on on the flat side. I'm going to leave a dimensional on, or leave it with a dimensional. If I can get it off my finger. Yep. Because it's not as big as all that, and that dimensional should hold it on nicely. And then I'm going to go with my rose gold one there. So I need to put a dimensional on this side where my finger is. And so I'm just looking to fill the space, and then tiny one at the end is another. I'm going to put another little glue dot on like this, dimensional. Just hope that it doesn't show. And I'm going to pop it up over here And then my final flourish are these lovely champagne rhinestones. I'm just going to dot those around. I don't think I need any more because this is all nice and shiny by itself. So what do you think? I think it's cute. I hope you do too. So what are we going to do with our extra piece? So here's our extra piece that we've got here. And I am going to use one of our note cards. You get 20 of these. I think they're $7.50 or $8 for a packet, and they come with their own envelopes. And I've got some really pretty, gorgeous grape ribbon. And I'm going to pop that around like that. And I'm going to attach it to the back of the card with some sticky tape. I find this method works really well for me. Sometimes Stampin' Seal doesn't quite hold it firmly enough when I come to put my faux knot on. So I like to just burnish that down, and then we're going to add some dimensionals. With these little ones, I like to put 2 in the middle, like that. And I'm going to just stamp on the bottom of my note card. And this one is it says, "You are so loved." And excuse me, I'm just going to bring it down so that I can just see and hope that it's as level as I can make it. Actually, that is not so bad. And then we're just going to pop the piece on the top. Make sure it's the right way round. And I'm just going to center it as best I can. And then I have another piece of the same ribbon, and I'm going to loop it under, and I'm just going to tie it off in a single knot. This is what I call my faux ribbon or faux knot technique, because it makes it look like you've got ribbon going all around. But I personally find if I try to put ribbon all the way around and then tie it off, I can never get it nice and tight, and it always looks loose and floppy. So this is how I deal with that. And we get our bonus card. So what did I do with my other one? It'll come to me. Oh, here it is. So here's the Valentine version with the little bonus card. And I have also got another version, and this time it's using the pansy paper with the dies to make a very pretty birthday card. And this here is the silver version of the trim, elegant trim, so you can use both in the pack. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this fun fold. Don't forget, you can get more information by following the link below. If you've enjoyed this, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you don't already do so, perhaps you will subscribe to my channel, and I really appreciate your support there as well. Well, thank you for joining me today. Bye for now.